Hey, what's up? Welcome to our series, Wondrously Weird Bible Stories, where we dig into the strange, the supernatural, and the most mysterious parts of the Bible. We're here to explore the bizarre details and surprising twists that make it the most interesting book of all time. So buckle up, things are about to get seriously weird. We often think of Jesus as this distant divine figure, forgetting that he was also fully human. Jesus experienced things like joy, sorrow, hunger, and pain, just like we do. His humanity wasn't an accident, it was by design. Just look at how Jesus is portrayed in modern times. We've labeled Jesus as the ultimate nice guy, and typically in our artwork we portray him at his weakest moments. Today, we're going to look at the personality of Jesus, a personality that highlights his humanity, showing us who Jesus really is. Let's start off by asking a pretty straightforward question. Was Jesus religious? While this question might sound ridiculous, let's make sure we understand the difference between religion and spirituality. Religion is a structured system of beliefs and practices, while spirituality is a more individual practice that involves a search for meaning and purpose. While Jesus was deeply spiritual, he wasn't confined by the rigid structures of religion. Jesus didn't come to validate or even refute religious rules. He came to foster genuine relationships between people and God. But how do we know this is true? Isn't it interesting that none of Jesus' disciples were religious elites? They were all ordinary people, fishermen, a tax collector, even a zealot. Jesus also chose to spend time with those whom society deemed unworthy people. This shows that Jesus valued faith and authenticity over formal religious credentials. Furthermore, he often challenged the religious leaders of his time, exposing their hypocrisy and empty traditions. It almost seems like Jesus' favorite day to heal people was on the Sabbath. But why? Because Jesus was an outlaw, as long as there was a bigger lesson to be learned in what he was doing. Another aspect of Jesus that's often overlooked is his sense of humor and playfulness. Let me give you an example. After his resurrection, on the road to Emmaus, Jesus joins two disciples who don't recognize him. You can read this story in Luke 24. Jesus listens to their conversation as they discuss his own death and resurrection. Pretending not to know, he asks questions, almost teasingly. As they approach Emmaus, he even acts as if he is going further until they urge him to stay. It's only when they break bread together that they finally realize who he is. Even in a moment as profound as the resurrection, Jesus shows his playfulness, letting his disciples experience the joy of discovery. Another thing we often overlook is how caring and compassionate Jesus is. Jesus' kindness and compassion were central to his mission. One of the most touching examples is when he heals the woman with a bleeding condition in Mark 5. She had been suffering for 12 years and was considered unclean by society. This woman broke every rule their society had. But why? She believed that simply touching Jesus' cloak would heal her, and when she did, she was immediately cured. Instead of scolding her, Jesus tenderly called her daughter. His compassion didn't just heal her physically, it reaffirmed her dignity and made her whole again, showing us that Jesus' kindness is always personal and transformative. Last but not least, Jesus was not afraid to shake things up. He was bold in confronting injustice and often disrupted the status quo. One of the boldest moments in Jesus' ministry occurs in John 8, when he forgives the woman caught in adultery. The religious leaders bring her to Jesus, seeking to trap him between upholding the law of Moses and showing mercy. In a bold move, Jesus says, "Let any one of you who is without sin be the first to throw a stone at her." His words stop the accusers in their tracks, and one by one, they leave. Then, Jesus tells the woman, "Neither do I condemn you. Go now and leave your life of sin." Jesus' boldness confronts sin with mercy, freeing the woman without excusing her wrongdoing. So what should we take away from this? Jesus wasn't just divine, he was fully human. He felt hunger, joy, sadness, and pain. He laughed with his friends, he wept with those who grieved, and he boldly spoke the truth. These moments remind us that Jesus is relatable. He isn't some distant figure. He walked this earth just like us, but with a purpose to restore. His playful humor, kind compassion, and bold disruption show that Jesus is someone we can truly connect with. Understanding these aspects of Jesus helps us see how we can live more fully and authentically, following in his footsteps. Thanks for stopping by. If you enjoyed this, don't miss my series on supernaturality and the Bible. The link is in the description. And just remember to keep reading that Bible.